I can assure you one thing, this is definitely the most difficult review that I've ever done, because after 2 days of failed attempts, I really don't know what to say anymore. And yes, I'm not really happy with the whole video setup here, but after 2 days, this is the best that I could come up. And that's not really the important thing, because after all, that's the one thing here in the back. The LG 34UC88 ultrawide monitor that I'm going to review, but I'm definitely not planning on killing you with specs and details. I don't want to bore you to death. I want to give you my experience after about 2 weeks, and then all the necessary information that I would want to get for myself if I would be in the market for something like this. So let's start off with the first thing, the ergonomics, because if you go down, you can see this is the lowest point, height adjustable up to 120 millimeters. As you can see, definitely more than good enough. Same as the tilt towards the back, but I would wish for a little bit more tilt towards the front, but it's still absolutely fine, good enough. Now let's get into the most important numbers. 34-inch with a resolution of 3440 by 1440, which I think is the sweet spot here, because noticeably sharper than a 1080p display, but without the annoying scaling issues of a 4K display. Brightness and contrast and all that isn't really that important here, because way more than good enough. But a color space of 99% sRGB for everyone who does a lot of video and photo editing. And if you plan on more than just casual gaming, the response time of 5 milliseconds and the refresh rate of 75 Hz could be interesting for you, same as the support for AMD FreeSync from 55 to 75, even though this is a little bit of a small range and won't help you in the lower frequencies. Speakers are also there, 2x7 watts, LED backlight, flicker-free, curved a little bit more than last year, and slim bezels. In terms of ports, you get the important ones. 2x HDMI, 1 DisplayPort 1.2, 2x USB 3.0 and 1 headphone jack. I would wish for a few more USBs maybe, but it is still absolutely fine. So let's get into the controls. At the bottom here we have a joystick that works in all 4 directions. If you push that, you can see it go towards up and you see the game modes. Right gets you to the inputs, down turns the screen off, and to the left you get the menu here to control brightness, contrast, volume and all that, which I think though is not really that important, because we get a really great software here from LG, that is LG on-screen controls, and that allows you to do all these adjustments comfortably on your PC with your mouse. So change brightness and contrast, also the presets and the aspect ratio. So I really like that. You can also use different presets and set them up. And maybe the highlight for me here is the split screen option. And I'm not even talking about the option here that you could use 2 devices at the same time at this monitor, for example, a laptop and a PC, which of course works with all those settings as well. But the great thing here is, as you can see here, you can rearrange different windows as the way you want to, for example, 3, 4, and picture-in-picture and all that. I think the best resolution here, or the best idea here, is to use 3 pictures symmetric, because then you can see here between every 2 windows as you have a little gap. If you move that, as you can see here, it will always automatically adjust, which is just super convenient to use and kind of already gives you a triple monitor feel. And this makes you way more productive, because it takes the most advantage of the screen real estate. I really need to appreciate that, because after the first 2 days I didn't even use that, and I was kind of stuck with the normal pattern that Windows allows us to use. So this is definitely one of the highlights. And if you want to quickly see how that works, for example, here in Adobe Premiere, you have an ultra-wide timeline, and if you can take advantage of that, you will have the wide timeline and really have something to work nicer with. As you can see, my super minimal timelines don't really take any advantage of that, and that is pretty much what it is. But if you can, definitely. Of course, you will see that if you have 16:9 content, you will have bars on the sides, but that was to be expected. But therefore, if you use it in games or, for example, in movies, you will definitely know to appreciate that, and I will get to that in just a second. But let's quickly cover the picture quality, or the panels quality, because as you can see here, the white looks very, very uniform. I really like that. Of course, it diminishes a little bit towards the edges, but this is absolutely acceptable and something that you don't usually notice, and the white point is really well here as well. But the maybe even more so impressive thing is the black, because usually on a curved monitor you get light bleed in the corners, which is almost not visible here, because a little bit of light bleed in the lower corners, but pretty much none in the upper ones. So this is really great, a really uniform black without any clouding. It could maybe be a little bit darker, but that is fine. And if you sit maybe in the middle, since we have such a wide panel, you will just notice the IPS glow, which is just not something you can avoid on any IPS panel. So it's absolutely fine. Other than that, in terms of the panels quality, I don't want to bore you all that much with, because you get a display quality assurance report that shows you that it is pre-calibrated, and it seems correct, because I have a pre-calibrated one Dell as well, and they look pretty much the same. In terms of sharpness, don't worry about that because this is an equivalent to a 27-inch 1440p display. So it means everything is big enough, but also easy to read and very sharp. This is great. And since we have a matte panel, you won't have any glare issues, but it is not a mute picture because everything seems very vibrant and great. Especially colors look very natural, but not dull or something like that. I need really know to appreciate it. So if you are someone who is into video and audio photo editing, you will definitely need to appreciate the accurate screen. A few issues could be there though due to the curved screen if you want straight lines, so this is something you will miss out on, but there is a flat panel version as well, so you could just use that, but you will lose out on the refresh rate, and that's what brings me actually to the gaming performance here. Because we have a 75 Hz panel here, I tried to overclock it and I got to 80, which is definitely already noticeably more than 60 that I had, for example, on the Dell 34-inch Ultrawide that I reviewed, which of course is inferior in the panel's qualities as well. But if we go into gaming, the Ultrawide is something where it really shines in terms of gaming because it is so much more immersive. Of course, due to the high resolution, you will need a lot more horsepower, and my GTX 970 definitely already had trouble. I had to degrade the details to get it playable. But once this happens, you will definitely appreciate the 80 Hz because it's noticeably smoother and lighter than 60 Hz is, after all, which you don't usually get on these high accurate panels. Of course, there are gaming panels that offer like 100 and 134 Hz, but don't usually come with the accurate panel like on this one. So that's why I think this is a really great all-rounder. Great for video and auto editing because very accurate, the ergonomics are absolutely there, and you can play games on that better than on most 60 Hz panel for sure. So this is definitely why it gets my recommendation. And if we actually check the value here, as we can already see here, the prices on, for example, Amazon.com show me that this device costs around $900. And if you want the 98 version, so the higher end version, costs around $1,050. The only differences though here are that you get a silver foot, have 10 millimeters less of height adjustments, therefore though get two Thunderbolt 2 ports if they are important for you. So that's why I think the 88 makes more sense. But if you want the flat panel version, this one is even a lot cheaper because it costs at around $700. But keep in mind that this one seems to be just with a 60 Hz panel. And that's why I think the 75 Hz panel of the 88 seems to be kind of the sweet spot in terms of value and overall qualities and best experience. So I can definitely highly recommend it. It's definitely a lot better than the 34-inch Ultrawide from Dell that I've reviewed as well, because the overall panel qualities just didn't reach this one nearly as much. I can't really say that this is the best one because I just lack of enough alternatives that I have reviewed, because this is just the second one. But what I see from all the monitors that I know already, I'm highly pleased. I really like the ultra-wide productive screen, and for gaming it was something that I really will miss once going back to my normal 16:9 ratio. So I think that would have been it. And if you like, to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and if you have any questions, if I forgot something, just leave them down below. Okay, until next time, bye.